Welcome everyone to the number one podcast, the Factoids Podcast. I'm Yusuf Khater, and today I'm joined by my good friends Ahmed Faris, Ahmed Zaha, and Muhammad Jihad. We all have turned to seniors in this academic year, and we have come to light of how expensive college tuition can be, and how sometimes, maybe even most of the times, the college degrees that you get can be useless. So, what do you guys think?
Right. So I think that college is not even worth it. And of course, there is a reason for every doubt, right? Now, while degrees are necessary in some fields, many students are going to college for cultural reasons and getting ripped off by getting scammed, of course, financially. So there is a corrupt bargain for the individual going to college under these circumstances, and of course circumstances like finance and the cost of the tuition is the rational thing to do. Uh, Future earnings will surely cover the costs, even if one's college education does not in any way make the applicant more qualified. In the end, they will just scam him. Nonetheless, the ubiquity of people with college degrees is almost unarguably bad for the American economy or any other economy. Uh, the truth is deeper and more complex than they are willing to admit. So, what do you think, Ahmed Zaha?
I totally agree with you. For example, Albert Einstein and some of the greatest minds were not in college. So if you're already smart, why go through the hassle of debt and wasting 4 years or potentially more of your life just for a glorified toilet paper that's signed by a college official, just because you don't want to be judged by the society or by your parents? Like, you don't need to go to college just to prove yourself. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You can learn by yourself, self-educate yourself, especially in this century. What do you think about that, Muhammad Jihad?
Yes, I totally agree with Zaha. Since now everything is found on the internet, you could easily learn from it. And instead of trying to get to colleges or go attend college, you could easily find a lot of lectures in every website on the internet. And for another example, as I mentioned earlier, we could see Zach Zuckerberg, which he didn't go to Harvard University, but now people work. No, but now people work for him in Harvard University. What do you think, Yusuf?
Yes, I do agree with that. And you said something that is very true, which is there is a lot of online resources available to students across the world, from Khan Academy to YouTube videos and many more. And these save you a lot of money because college students right now are drowning in debt. And according to an article, on average, the cost for 1 year of attendance at a 4-year public college or university costs 40% of a family's income. And on average, approximately 40% of students leave with debts of $22,000. And this is only for domestic students, and it's even worse for international students.
Right. So, speaking of online learning, from online colleges and individual certification programs to internships and technical schools, there are more than a few options for the cost-minded students. Of course, students uh, who take the cost of the tuition seriously. Take community colleges, for instance. They offer affordable, high-quality educations to people close to their homes and often provide flexible scheduling and online courses. In some areas, graduates of two-year institutions, for example, earn more than their university graduate counterparts. So, what do you think, Mohammed Jihad?
I personally think that the fact that the colleges are really expensive is one of the most important facts. Since you could say that a lot of people are also pressured to go to colleges by their parents, while they could easily change their path and go do something that would help their family raise their income or live a healthier life and a better life that they have lived. So that's one of the main reasons I think it's the most important, and I think it's the most important. What
Yeah,
about you, Zah?
also most people who aren't college graduates are making more money than college graduates. For example, Google coders and programmers are self-earned, most of them at least. And the platform we are using right now to hear this audio is coded and programmed by self-learned people with no college degrees that make approximately $200,000 per year. Like you don't need a college degree to make money. You just need commitment and self-learning process to make it all happen. For example, if you self-learn for 1 hour per day in your teenage years, you will become one of the greatest coders in Google history. What do you think about that, Yusuf?
Yes, that is very true. And let's be real here. What do they learn in colleges? I know many engineers who can't even do derivatives and use the Pythagorean theorem correctly. Many professors in the institutions, in universities and colleges, they really care more about their research and their progress on their field that they are studying rather than making sure that their students are getting the best education. They don't care, they don't really care about the students. They just want to get their pay and the funding for their research. And many students struggle because of this, because they get many professors ignore students' emails about concerns about exams or certain concepts that they couldn't understand in lectures, which can be very troublesome because if this happens and reaches the medical field, it can really cause a lot of deaths because many doctors will be unknowledgeable and unskilled and they might kill many patients.
Now, thank you for talking about engineering programs, Yusuf. Uh, so personally, okay, I go to a school known largely for its engineering programs. Without question, a discipline which requires an education beyond what one receives in high school. However, it is not. It is also true that engineers do not usually dissect pigs on the job site. That being said, why must they take a biology class in college? Does the knowledge gained from reading a $200 biology textbook really help them do their jobs? Probably not. Uh, Anyone who has gone to a 4-year college has likely asked similar questions. Why are we covering material that I learned in high school? Why do I have to buy a textbook that will only use occasionally? Why do I even need this degree? To the more critical students, the answer is abundantly clear. I do not know. Uh, what I need to know can be taught more effectively at a lower cost by some other means. College is a scam. The world has just hasn't realized it yet, sadly. So, what do you think, Ahmed Zaha?
Yeah, I agree. Colleges is definitely a scam. They are increasing the cost of tuition every year, despite having online learning. Tuition fees have increased everywhere. Think about some college graduates, Are they better in any way than non-college graduates? Of course not. Most people will not say what I'm saying right now because it makes them feel dumb because they attended college and thinking they are better than me for going college and getting more knowledge in their opinion.
Let me point out something. Many graduates are left with useless courses they can't get, and they can't get jobs. You often have to do another course because you're not qualified enough with the only one degree that you have, and colleges delay family and responsibilities in life. There are advantages to using your hands for physical work, which I mean by that is being able to go through the internet and to the other website. But actually, the thing that I point out first is that people now can't find jobs due to the increased birth rate, and there's a lot of people that now are already working in their jobs, and the low death rate too, which affects this. What do you think, Yusuf?
Yes, I do agree. And talking about jobs, many firms and employers look for experience than college degrees. They don't care about the bachelor degree that you have or the master's or the doctorate. They only want experience and they want to know that you have knowledge about the field you're working in and are skilled enough to work with them. Um, because experience is really everything. It just shows that you can do the job correctly without having to be taught when you are employed. So having self-learned experience and being able, for example, as a programmer, if you have already self-learned programming and you programmed a website, a blog, that you can show to firms and employers, they can immediately employ you without a degree or any of that sort.
Right. While it is certainly true that on average, the more advanced degree you have, the higher your income will be. This does not in itself prove that one is the cause of the other. Um, it could be perhaps that more intelligent people, those more likely to go to college in the first place, make more money simply because they are in fact more intelligent than their peers. Their degree may merely certify how smart they are. It may be the case that college has become a filter, not an educator. That is not to say that going to college is an unprofitable venture, far from it, but rather that for many people, a college degree has no value beyond what our culture needlessly ascribes to it. Now,
Yeah, most people claim that college degrees are a good investment. However, it's not a good investment at all. Let me share an example. If you get a 4-year college degree with like $150,000 in student loans for a job that will pay you around $60,000 per year, that's indeed a bad investment. The reason is that you will have to work more than 10 years just to pay off your student debt. And having that much debt will also prevent you from making investments or borrowing for a mortgage to buy a house, which is considered as a good investment, unlike college. In fact, college debt is now the largest looming financial crisis facing Americans. What do you think about that, Jihad?
Yes, so as you included numbers, I can include a study which was in 2000, was found in 2018, that there are only 6 colleges out of 1,178 4-year colleges at which earning a college degree can get you a 1 million return investment. Basically, the reported number that college graduates make 1 million more over the course of their professional lives is not that accurate. Moreover, it is important to note that while most people are while most people are in colleges, they're not working on only program, not only working part time. So, in addition to the financial costs and debts you're inquiring while in college. And one more thing I want to point out that is college might not actually make you smarter. And I could point out another study that was also found in 2018 that 45% of the 2,332 traditional aged college students that studied from 2018 to 2021 made no significant improvement in their critical thinking, reasoning, or writing skills during the first 2 years of college. And after the 4 years of college, they only showed 30% of significant improvement. Given the cost of attending college, you'd hope that higher education would have a dramatically positive effect on these skills for all students, but this might not be the case.
Yes, I very much agree with that. And you have to keep in mind that colleges aren't really flexible. You don't really get to choose your passion. Many people lose their passion because they couldn't find a degree that fits what they love to do every day,
And
which is
maybe they're
really sad.
forced to.
Yes, that's true. And they're forced to maybe my parents because their parents might want them to become lawyers or doctors, which can be very depressing and give the students a lot of anxiety. So it really comes down to just having flexibility in the college degrees and ensuring that students become happy when they enter and not stressed and depressed.
now, of course, many people do in fact need college degrees to work in certain professions. Like personally, I would be more than a bit hesitant to visit a doctor who had not gone to medical school, of course. Uh, that being said, our society is slowly moving away from the outmoded way of resume building, whereby people trying to achieve the best GPAs at the most prestigious schools. Indeed, many employers today are less concerned about where an applicant went to school than they are with the applicant's actual skills. Uh, Doubtless, traditional 4-year institutions do teach actual skills. That is not the question, though. The question is, do they teach those skills efficiently? Compared with the plethora of alternative educational methods today, I believe the answer is a no.
Yeah, actually, it's a scam in the sense that most skills and degree programs offered by colleges can actually be learned independently through the internet or other sources. And oftentimes, like fields like programming, as we already said, colleges will actually be a bit behind the industry, unlike self-learning. Also, it's a scam because you aren't paying for the education. You are really just paying for the certification that you actually learned the skill you are studying, when you could have learned it independently through cheaper or even free avenues, such as YouTube, for example, for the example of coding. A degree will look better on your resume. That's the only benefit of the degree overall.
So let me tell you about some jobs that you could do without a degree. Real estate agent, and there could be find also real estate agent, digital marketer, software developer, network specialist, power plant operator, skilled trades, automotive technician. So there are a lot of jobs that you could do without your college degree. And there's also another point that once you graduate from college, that's if you do graduate, you are going to need money, unless you're gonna need a lot of money, unless you inherited some large sum of cash from an insanely rich ancestor maybe, which this would require you to jump straight from college into the workforce. This doesn't provide much time for traveling the world and seeing everything you wanted to, but couldn't during your years of public college. So it cuts a lot of time from your life, and it just puts you in endless depths that you could never get out until you work really hard. And even after working for 5 or 6 years, you could only pay off half of your debts.
Yeah, the ridiculous amount of student loan debts in America actually has dragged millions and financially ruined lives of millions of people. I can assure you that this is an ongoing national problem that needs to be addressed. The nationwide student loan debt is currently an astonishing $1.44 trillion, believe it or not. And the annually tuition increases due to inflation every year, which makes things worse and the problem worse. Not to mention, Stanford, the federal student loan interest rates has just increased, which is a scam in the eyes of everyone except the blind.
Let me tell you something. As you mentioned, from influencing, students might get influenced by their peer group and might get into wrong activities, which will lead them to forget about college and focus on these wrong activities. And college is a platform where students experience much more freedom than schools and other learning facilities. So students might get into relationships also, which might harm their way of thinking and could lead them to depression. Other ways get their mindset really far away from studying. Here you go, Yusuf.
Yes, I do agree. And to end this crisis, I think colleges should ensure that they really decrease the tuition fee on their students, because it's such a hassle on the students and on their parents. And they must ensure that the students can enter a degree that they are passionate about, because when you are passionate about something, you can easily become skilled at it and knowledgeable about it. So it's really important to make some flexibility in the degrees that the students can choose. And on top of that, I think that university should include programs that give experience to students, so that employers can be satisfied with the amount of experience someone got after they graduated from university. So it wouldn't be difficult to enter a job once you've graduated. And I think these solutions that we have mentioned are really good. And yes, anyway, this has been a great discussion, and I think it's really interesting to see how this crisis will go on for the next few decades. Is it going to become better, or is it going to become worse? Who knows? But hopefully it's going to become better for our students and our future. This has been the Factoid Podcast. Thank you for listening. Hopefully we'll see you next time.